It's witchcraft.
Hey, it's 4:20 a.m. Hi, and welcome to episode 65 of the Stoned Witches Hour. If you're new here, welcome, grab a joint, and prepare to be spooked as we tell you two shockingly creepy true paranormal tales from around the USA, all while smoking more cannabis than Snoop Dogg at a High Times festival. And having a happy little sesh with some friend-grown trees, I'm Layla.
And I'm shocked and spooked and Chelle.
Welcome to the Stoned Witches Hour. Old listeners, new listeners. Uh-oh, I don't mean to call our listeners old. Past listeners, new listeners, current listeners, you're all welcome.
OG listeners. That's what it is.
Well, a special welcome to our OG listeners.
I don't know if this is a shout out or an apology, or I don't even know what to call this, but I need a minute of airtime here, Layla.
You got it, Chelle.
We've had a listener that has been trying to reach out to me that wanted to meet up with me in person on 420, actually.
Oh no.
Yeah, and this person was going to come to Salem. Darlene, if you are out there, it's me. It's not you. I just want to say that. You know, we don't really delve into our personal life issues here.
Different podcast.
I've had some stuff going on in my personal life. I've been very distracted lately. There's been times where we've kind of had to almost fight to get airtime. It's me. It's been me, dear friend. It's
We
not you.
suck at responding to people. Let's just put that out there.
We're kind of socially inept.
And it's just us. There is no production crew. There's no
No,
social
no.
media team. It's just the two of us.
So I just want to specifically apologize to Darlene because it's totally my fault. And I've just been caught up in my own family drama. And I am sorry, sweetheart. And I promise you, if you come to Salem again, you and I are going to smoke fat joints. We're going to stop at a coffee shop and I will buy you a damn tarot deck on me. I promise.
So sorry, Darlene.
It's me, not you.
I hope you had a great 420 anyway. It's totally us. It's us.
Yeah, that's one of those textbook definitions of totally my bad. So
So I'm
now
cracking a bowl for Darlene because you suck. And I'm smoking this beautiful Jack Hare in her honor because it is delicious.
well, because I'm such an asshole, I felt the need to apologize and let her know that it's definitely me.
Okay, you apologized enough. It's okay.
I'm
You
like
don't need to
groveling
grovel.
now. No, I'm totally groveling now.
Stop
So,
groveling. Hit that beautiful crocus purple pipe of yours while I smoke my
are
lovely
you
Jack
still,
Hare.
I was going to say, are you still on that damn Jack Hare shit
This is new Jack Hare shit.
from a different person?
Yes.
So how do you know it really is Jack Hare?
It tastes very Jack Hare. It's got that yummy spiciness that I like of a Jack Hare. It's got that kind of middle of the road, good stone. I wouldn't say this is a bake you into the couch or launch your brain into the stratosphere stone, but it's a good heady high stone. Makes me happy.
Now you said this was friend weed or store weed.
Friend weed. Well, new friend weed. This is a local grower that I met not too long ago, hooking up through local social media. And they are super nice, super sweet, very shy, and do not want to be on air. Thank you very much. But you know who you are, my nice little Jack Hare grower. Thank you. It's delicious. Very green. And one of the things that distinguishes a Jack Hare to me is this spiciness taste. It almost has an incensey taste to it. And it's very delicious. A little black peppery, a little incensey, and it's very distinctive. Once you taste it, you kind of know what to look for. So sometimes when someone tells me it's a Jack and it doesn't have that sativa high and it doesn't have that spiciness, I kind of question whether it really is a Jack Hare or not. But this one I'm pretty sure is.
Damn, you got standards.
Well, I know you always grab for the heaviest hitters. And while I love a high THC, I love a flavor even more. Get me a little baked, but give me that aroma, that taste. Give me something delicious and different. And that's what I'm going to reach for every time. So yeah, I guess I do have a little bit of standards. I like flavors. I don't want it to just be gassy and smack me upside the head. I want it to have like a nice, delicious taste. Is that so wrong? A girl's got to have some standards. I can't just be a smoke everything stoner. Okay, maybe I can. So I'm loving this Jack Hare. It's definitely delicious.
This is what I'm rocking today. It's called Midnight.
Ooh, now did you go back to Mission?
Oh, hell yeah.
With prices like you talked about last episode, I am not surprised. That was a great deal, especially for Massachusetts.
And it's on the reg. This wasn't just like a one-timer.
Really?
Although at Mission, if anybody who works at Mission is listening, it's time for coupons again, folks. Coupons.
We like the goodies. Give out the goodies with each purchase, please.
This brand, if you want to call it a brand, I guess we have brands nowadays, is Legends. So Legends is the brand. I really like this. It kind of gives you that
Now you said it was
really
called Midnight.
midnight.
So
Yep.
is it dark? Is it dark green? Does it have any purple?
You want to hear a funny story? I've smoked
I
a bunch of
do.
it, didn't even look. I've literally already smoked a whole eighth of it, and I cannot answer your question without looking.
Stuff and smoke, stuff and smoke. That's
No,
my
I've been
girl.
grinding. I've been grinding.
Oh,
I've been
nice.
grinding.
Well, nugs nowadays, you can't get away with stuff and smoke anymore unless it's somebody's slightly fluffy homegrown. Because most of the time, nugs these days are so freaking dense, you have to grind them up to get a good burn.
I feel like I couldn't survive if I didn't have a grinder. Remember how against grinders I was? Because it was so new
Why
age.
bother? You didn't really need one back in the day. Shit, we didn't have brands back in the day. You had Joe's Weed or you had Bob's Weed, and they had either kind or swag.
Remember Hydro?
Yeah, if you were really lucky, they had hydro, which just meant really good weed, did not mean grown in a hydroponic system.
For all you listeners, Layla's laughing and she's mocking and she's talking shit, but don't think for a second she didn't show up at my house on several occasions and be like, "Hey, Shelly, you want some hydro?"
Or you
Or
got hydro.
do you know where you could get some hydro? So don't let her giggle and fool you.
Oh, I was so looking for the hydro. I knew what it meant, didn't care, wanted to smoke it anyway.
But this is like a dark green. Like you know how there's like really light green weed? This is like a dark
Yeah,
green, but crystally as fuck.
that super dark piney green.
Yeah, very crystally, but I
Love
like
it.
it. I had to lay off the stuff I had last week because I was eating too much.
Munchy weed for sure.
That shit, man.
Yeah, anything that's gonna make you eat a KFC bowl and sparkly peeps in the same sitting is bad news.
Right? Right? You got to save that for like right before Thanksgiving dinner or something. Jesus. But yeah, this is a 29.5, so right up my alley. This is one of those weeds that I define as you can manipulate.
The one where
I
you can
like
make
that
it
kind.
up or make it kind of mellow.
I mean, maybe because it's like I probably bleed weed at this point. I don't know. But this is one of those I can manipulate. And I have manipulated it to get a whole bunch of shit done, and I have manipulated it to put my ass right to sleep. So I love it for that because I can gear it in the direction I want it to go in.
Yeah, I like those weeds too. That's kind of why I like things like this Jack Hare. It tastes really great. And I like to smoke pretty regularly. So something that's kind of middle of the road for the day so that I can keep my emotions kind of on an even keel while I'm getting shit done. I like a middle of the road, lower THC for that so I can kind of stay functional. And then later in the evening or when I can relax on the weekend, that's when I'm going to want to reach for, my personal top shelf stash and grab the really high THC. And if I want to go out, I'm going to feel up. If I want to stay in and game, I might be zony. And, I love those manipulatable weeds.
Well, this particular weed I'm loving at the moment because here in the Northeast, Mother Nature is a whore, okay? Call a spade a spade. Mother Nature is a whore. This particular one, not only does it have the higher THC, but it also has a 1.7 CBD.
Oh, nice.
And
That would be good for you because I know you
right,
sometimes have a little back pain.
as you know, a lot of my back pain has to do, like I get really bad when it's like rainy and damp and wet.
Hmm.
And Well, they didn't call it April showers for nothing. So it's really kind of it's easing the pain from that atmospheric pressure that my back does not like and that dampness that irritates my back. I can manipulate the high and it kind of lessens my back issue.
I love that. A little bit of CBD is always nice in my book.
Well, usually that's not what I'm looking for, as you know. And
Hmm.
I didn't even notice. And I was like, ooh, wow, I had a backache and now I don't. And then I looked at the jar and I was like, ooh, good call.
Yeah, you say you don't notice, Shell, but over the last several episodes, you've been asking more and more specific questions. I think you're more of a savvy weed shopper now than you think you are.
I blame you.
Oh yeah, totally my fault. I'll
I
take
blame
that.
you. I blame you.
And the market has been a lot of fun. There's so much out there to explore. It's just really great to have all this information. I absolutely love legalization for that.
Well, and also, one of the great things about legalization is all these awesome people are getting jobs at all of these awesome dispensaries, and they are so full of knowledge and so happy to talk to you because they finally can just talk about weed all day.
Yeah, they need to keep up with the social justice aspect of it as well and make sure that they are pardoning people that, had jail time and had, were
Right.
incarcerated over prohibition. And
Expunge records.
yeah, they really need to make sure to continue to do that and to make sure that these people have opportunities in these businesses other than outside mega million dollar companies. So hopefully they're doing that part right.
I'm curious. I have one more weed question, and then we can get spooky.
Sure.
Is spring, which is essentially what we're in right now, is this really where more weed comes out? Do you think?
I'm not really sure. I know that the end of fall, when we start having the harvest festivals, you have Lammas and Mabon and Samhain. I know right before Samhain, right after Mabon, is when most of the weed gets harvested, like
The outdoor weed.
October. Yeah, most of the outdoor weed gets harvested September, October. But I don't know if there's any particular fluctuation to indoor weed. I think that it pretty much people just grow when they grow. So I don't know this time of year if there's more. It could be in your area if there's growers that are all kind of synced up. I'm not sure. But the only time I know when there's a big predictable influx of weed is in the fall when people are harvesting their outdoor.
And do you have any news updates on any states going legal or anything new with federal law?
No, but I did just hear that somebody, was it Delaware that just went legal?
Ooh, go down.
Like over their governor's yeah, actually it was. Yeah, Delaware became the latest state to legalize recreational weed, even though their governor was against it.
Yeah, he's just one guy.
Right? What does he have to say anyways?
We are a democracy. Every voice counts.
So at least he said that he wouldn't veto it. So yeah, as of like April 23rd-ish, roughly, Delaware became the latest state to legalize recreational marijuana.
I know I'm not putting pressure on you by any means, but what are we looking at now? Like a third of the country legal?
Oh, I think it's more than that. Let's see. How many legal states? Okay, let's see here. 21 states.
So we're pushing half the country.
21 states are recreational. That was as of November 2022, so there's even more now.
So we're probably pushing 25 now. I mean,
Probably, yeah.
not that I want to get all newsy on our listeners, but sometimes I like to add tidbits of what's updated and going on. If you are from Delaware, light one.
Congrats. This bowl is for you.
So now that we've covered our weedy weed, now we got to get spooky spook.
Yeah. What have you got today? I've got something pretty good.
You know, I have like some hidden dream to be a princess in a castle.
Absolutely. You love
So,
the royal family.
right, which by the way, I'm so gearing up for the coronation coming up in a few weeks. So, to all of our friends in the UK, I will be watching. Don't you worry, I will be watching.
She will. She will.
And damn it, I'll be drinking tea.
Oh, yeah. She'll be doing that too. Hopefully,
Yeah.
smoking a joint too in honor of the king.
Well, he is quite the environmentalist. I'm not so sure he's against weed.
Interesting. Interesting. I guess it will remain to be seen. Could they go legal recreational marijuana in the UK in 2023?
I don't know. If you're from the UK, give us your opinion at the stoned witches hour at gmail.com.
Let us know. So, Princess, what is your story about?
I found a haunted castle.
No way.
I don't know why. I know we said we'd switch it up and go all around the country, but I'm still stuck on the East Coast. So this is in Vermont.
Oh, ooh, I love Vermont. That's okay. I am also in the East Coast. I'm in South Carolina.
Ooh, interesting. The South is like super ghosty, so I'm
Super
excited for that.
ghosty. This is not a lady in white story.
Oh my God, thank God.
It's a lady in red story.
I'm going to go back to the 80s and start singing Lady in Red.
Oh. Yeah, it's a good one.
But this is like Vermont's only real castle. The first thing that I laughed at, and all I could think of is you when I found this
Me?
most haunted castle in America.
Of course it is. Of course it is. I love it. Mine is the most haunted theater in America.
I'm reading about this story, and my sweet darling love is here, and he's like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And I tell him, and I go, "Yeah, it's the most haunted." And he goes, "Yeah, is there a portal to hell there? Because there's one of those everywhere too." And I'm like, "Well, there might be orbs." I mean, we were
Yes,
dying.
orbs. Woo!
Woo for orbs!
Yay for
Um,
orbs. No portal to hell, though.
no portal to hell.
How can they call themselves the most haunted? And they don't even have a portal to hell. The
Well,
Belhurst Castle in New York that we talked about has a portal to maybe hell, at least.
well, we've both lived in New York at one time in our lives, so we know that just the whole state of New York is a portal to hell. I
Okay, you're
mean,
not wrong.
anyone else from New York State, if I am wrong, email me because I'm telling you.
That's true. It's true. Okay, good point. Good point. So you have a haunted castle, the
Yeah,
most haunted castle.
the most. Okay. This is called the Wilson Castle.
Oh, I love a place with a name.
Again, Vermont's only real castle. It is in Proctor. And you know that they've had a little something something because they have had the History Channel and Sci-Fi and the Travel Channel actually go there. They did paranormal caught on camera there.
Wow, a lot of people have been there. That's impressive. Quite the pedigree.
If you've got that lineup of people, you got a little bit going on, obviously.
Yeah,
Okay.
if that many different people want to come and do research there, something's up. What have they found? What's going on there?
First of all, I have to put it out there that you can go overnight. Bucket
Really?
list.
Fuck yeah, this fall. Oh, Vermont is gorgeous. We should go up there. Oh my gosh. Road trip, Shell.
Imagine spending Samhain in a haunted castle in Vermont. Holy shit.
It's a date. Let's do it.
Holy shit.
That's probably the only way we could top Samhain in Salem that we
I
did
know,
last
right?
year.
It's like sleep in a damn haunted castle. Lord.
Yes. Oh my gosh, we need to make that happen.
As much as I'm fuck around and find out, I'm also the first one freaked out and crying.
Ah, yeah, that's funny.
I always grab Layla like somehow she's going to save me. But anyway, this, I can't remember at the moment how old it is, but it's been considered haunted since Cornell Wilson bought it in 1939. Part of this castle had like a children's quarters.
Okay.
Like, you know how,
Back in the day used to do that, right? They had like a whole kids wing.
right.
Once they reached a certain age, then went to like their regular room, but until then they were in the children's wing.
God, I wish my parents did that. In the children's wing, they would talk about these old women who would come and like tend to them and play with them and sing songs to them.
Some of their nurses or something.
Well, they weren't there. They were ghosties.
Oh, creepy.
I never really found the origin of some of the ghosts, but the children would always talk of these women that they would come, they'd read stories, they'd sing songs, rock them in the rocking chair.
Oh, I hate those. Now, did
I
the
know.
children know that they were ghosts or just
No,
think that they were caretakers?
they just, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So then they'd go and they'd be like, oh, Anne read me a story. And they'd be like, who the fuck is Anne? Okay.
Wow.
One day, one of the kids went and told one of the parents, The parent went to that side and wanted to see who this person was. They found one of the other children rocking in the rocking chair in a position that looked like they were sitting on a knee holding someone, but there was no one in the rocking chair with them.
That's so creepy. Oh,
Now,
fuck.
if a ghost wants to fuck around with me, I am all for it. I am game. I'm fuck around and find out. But leave my kids
My
alone.
kids? Yeah,
Don't no, no,
no.
no, 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 not my
Mm-mm.
kids. Not my kids. Come
And
on.
don't rock in the rocking chair. That's like the creepiest thing you can do. That's bad. Don't do that.
Every time you see a ghost story with a rocking chair, somebody dies.
Ugh, it's awful.
So he kept saying, the owner guy kept saying that the kids were playing tricks because he didn't want people to think it was haunted because this was actually a 32 room house. Now, when you're thinking back to like 1939, 32 room house, like what the hell?
That's a lot of house.
So he would try to rent out rooms. Now, back then, nobody is going to rent out a room in a haunted place.
Hello. Have you met us?
Well, we would, but not in 1939.
Good point. Good point. This is well past the time of spiritualism in the United States.
I joked about a portal to hell, okay? There is a supposed portal here, not to hell though. It has what they call 6 or 7 frequent flyers. I don't know if you'd want to call a ghost a frequent flyer, but hey,
It's
everybody has
just
an
a
opinion.
weird turn of phrase. Do they mean just like ghosts that keep coming back?
Yeah,
Okay.
I would call them ghostly residents, but they call them frequent flyers, whatever. So they have like 6 or 7 that haunt these 32 rooms, but they think that there's a portal in the upstairs closet, Narnia, that allows other spirits to go in and out of the castle.
So there's six they think that stay there, but there's a portal that allows even more spirits to kind of come and go.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Okay.
And they describe it as, in quotes, it's not like you're going to be scared at the door, but the door will play tricks on you.
Ooh.
Like, what kind of tricks is a door playing on me?
Right? Seriously. Is it just swinging back and forth? Is it locking? I mean, we've heard of doors that lock on their own. What's it do?
I don't know. I don't know.
So creepy. Maybe we have to go there to find out.
Guests have reported hearing voices, music being played. And when Travel Channel and those folks went there, they actually confirmed all of this stuff.
Wow.
I don't know if Zach Baggins himself went, but there are 13. Listen to this. And you know how, like, you and I are superstitious. The castle itself is 13,131 square feet. It has 13 fireplaces.
This almost sounds like it had to have been done on purpose.
The guy, it says 13 doesn't have any significance here. Dude,
I'm sorry, but it's the same backwards and forwards.
really, there's like servants' quarters as well. And really, this guy just wanted to make this go away because back in this particular period, you're not making money with ghosts. This ain't 2023 where you're doing ghost tours.
Yeah, right. Nowadays, people probably snapping those properties up left and right.
In the 50s and 60s, they were taking pictures a lot. That's when kind of photography, where the everyday Joe was able to take pictures.
Kodak.
They were able to go back and look at some of these pictures and could see a child standing behind someone who was at the mirror.
Oh, wow.
And
A child that wasn't really there, I'm guessing.
yes, almost like the child came from the mirror.
Ooh, super creepy.
So because it was so big and how they had it kind of like a little, not really a hotel, think bed and breakfasty was really how it was described. They had servants' bedrooms. They believe that the servants' areas had like more of an evil energy than the rest of the castle. And because, like I said, I couldn't really find the origin of the ghosts or when the castle was built, that could be, in my opinion, and I'm just pulling here out of thin air, there could have been some slave usage around that time, workers not being treated well. We've done stories where hired help was treated horribly and came back and kind of haunted the place. I think that what they describe maybe as evil could be angry
right? We found places that have that type of long-term systemic abuse really does hold on to that negative energy
Hmm.
and can kind of just contribute to perpetuating that type of energy and, people kind of feeling that negative vibe whenever they're there.
Right. And they think that they do think that there is a woman named Sarah Johnson who, see, and this is where kind of the history of the castle itself gets a little fishy. Some call her the original homeowner, and some say that she was like the second or third owner of this place. But she did own it from 1885 to 1892. And she's considered one of the frequent flyers, kind of this is my house, I live here. Just because I died doesn't mean I'm going.
We found that a lot with people who build, particularly these older grand houses. They tend to stay there, even if they didn't happen to die in the house. A lot of them are so connected to it that they stay.
And then I did read that she did have two children, and one of her children ended up dying of spinal meningitis. So,
Oh,
again, the children ghosts, maybe that ghost in the mirror, I am going to assume is probably that child.
that would make sense.
If her child died and kind of stayed in the house, when the mother dies, it's like you're not leaving your kid. Your kid's there, you're staying.
It makes it much more likely that her soul would stay there as well.
As you can imagine, I mean, we're both moms, and thank everybody out there. We've never had to experience this, but I'm sticking with my kids in this life and the afterlife, period.
Yep, absolutely. It's
Done
totally a
deal.
mom thing to do for sure.
Done deal. So I think that some of the ghosts may be Sarah Johnson and her child. Didn't get the child's name. They also think that she's watching over this portal. They believe that she stays in that top bedroom where this like doorway is.
They don't say where it's a portal to, just that it's in the closet.
Yeah, that's why I
Huh.
joked and said Narnia. Um,
Do they know? I might be getting ahead of myself, but do they know what caused it?
no, not that I'm finding. I mean,
Weird.
Lord, if there's anybody around from Vermont who knows the history, please, because now I'm intrigued. But they just think that Sarah Johnson is with her child watching over the portal.
Interesting. That's weird.
All I can think of, and tell me if I'm crazy in this particular thing, not overall, please. Think of like Samhain, where they say the veil is the thinnest and spirits
Hmm.
can kind of travel in and out more freely.
Yeah.
All I can think of is that this is like a permanent open veil.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Maybe it's like a thin spot between this world and the afterworld.
Maybe. There's been times where they've had, even most recently, in the early 2000s, they've let people stay there and it got cold at night. And the people woke up in the morning and thanked the hosts for turning up the heat. And they're like, we didn't turn up the heat.
Oh, wow. So that portal gets hot?
No, I think it's the ghosts like, oh, it's cold in here. Let's help everybody out by turning up the heat for them.
Oh,
Like
oh,
being
so
helpful.
like the ghosts literally turn up the heat.
But there is a story. The guy who currently owns it, he had a group of women stay overnight and they stayed in Sarah's bedroom where the portal is, remember?
Hmm.
And the next morning, they made a comment about the heat. And they said that they heard the furnace kick on in the basement and felt the hot air coming out of the grate. And the owner said, the furnace broke 3 weeks ago and we haven't gotten it fixed yet. The furnace couldn't have kicked on. It doesn't work. And they heard it kick on and they felt the hot air through the gate. No fucking furnace.
My jaw is on the floor.
No
What
freaking
the
furnace.
heck?
Yeah.
That is so creepy.
But like they're doing it in like a caring way. They're like, oh, you're cold. Let's make you warm. They've had investigators there. They actually don't think they ever got to speak to Sarah, but one of the investigators, for the first time ever, their grandmother came through to the point where that person was in tears. That person
Aw.
had tried, but the kick is that investigator had spent many years trying to reach out to the spirit of their grandmother, never made connection until they were in Sarah's bedroom in this castle at this house.
So that portal is such a thin spot that even a difficult to get a hold of spirit can get through there.
Apparently.
Wow, like a really easy gateway.
I mean, they spoke, some of these investigators, there was an investigator called Jackie Kurt, and she's from Ghost Hunts USA. She took in pendulums, dowsing rods. She felt like she spoke to a ghost named Christopher that was in the Navy. But again, no real backstory on who Christopher is. He could have been someone that rented a room there at some point, because it seems like from the late 1800s all the way up until around 2000, that this was kind of like a, I think hotel is over glorifying it, bed and breakfast is minimalizing it, but somewhere in between a hotel and a bed and breakfast, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some people, they have had a nightlight on and it just went out, wouldn't work. But then when they left there and used a nightlight somewhere else, it was fine. Cell phones all of a sudden don't work when you're in that bedroom near this portal.
Well, we found from our own experience in haunted locations that electrical disturbances are one of the first signs of some type of strange energy in an area.
Now, I know our listeners can't see this, but I have to show this to you because this place just reeks haunted.
Oh, wow, that's really cool.
Doesn't it just reek ghost activity?
Yep, you need to put a picture of that up on the Instagram for sure because you look at it and you say, "Oh yeah, that house is definitely fucking haunted." For
Don't you
sure.
feel like something should be looking out a window at you that's not really there? That's what I feel like there's something is looking out a window at me that's not totally
I'm
there.
pretty sure there are at least three ghosts in that picture alone.
And Vermont, very wooded, very, I mean, I am not down in Vermont, but very desolate, kind of the whole state, very wooded. It's like the Adirondacks on steroids. Just like to have a castle like that in the middle of the woods.
It's beautiful. It's haunted as fuck. You can tell just by looking at it.
Bucket list.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's penciled in, Shell. When we do our road trip, we're there.
People don't talk about nothing mean or hurtful. It's like I'm getting poked. I'm hearing singing. Someone's turning the furnace up when it's not even working. I think these people are just home.
Yeah, they're there to stay. And it sounds like there's a lot of visitors there too.
Nowadays, this is owned by a guy who is more than happy to do ghost tours.
Aren't they all nowadays?
I know they are. But like, this is just one of those, not a lot of crazy stuff, but like, why did they build it at 13,131 square feet? Why 13 fireplaces? Why is this built on a 113-acre estate?
Exactly.
Who the hell buys property that's exactly 113 with 13 fireplaces and 13 131 square feet?
You can do that backwards and it's the
Yeah.
same. And it looks haunted. They built it to be haunted. Something's up here. I need more history. Like, I need to know, was the original builder like a mason? Did he have some sort of paranormal connection?
I got one more thing I have to tell you about this place.
What's that?
It's just off the hook. So, you know how a lot of these places like to restore back to its authentic, original, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Those motherfuckers keep a wicker casket in the ballroom.
Why is there a wicker casket in the ballroom?
I got no words.
No reason. It's just there. That's the most morbid decoration. I mean, that's just strange.
When I was researching this place, it just talks about the wicker casket in the ballroom. It doesn't give any other freaking description. And then I read something else where it says you can rent it out and have the perfect wedding of your dreams.
But the wicker casket stays?
Apparently. I mean, you and I would have a wicker casket and a haunted
Well,
casket.
sure. I have stuff that looks like Halloween stuff up all the time. But a casket in the ballroom for some place
Yeah.
that doesn't tout itself as like a spooky, well, maybe they do. I don't know. Do they have a whole spooky theme going on? Maybe that's why.
Well, they have a lot of Far Eastern and European antiques and museum pieces. And I'm a stickler on that. You start bringing antiques and museum shit in, you might as well be giving ghosts an invitation.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You're asking them to come in. It still doesn't explain the wicker casket, though. Weird. I kind of like it. I want to see it.
Or the whole 13, 13, 13 stuff.
I know. I need to know more. So if you're from there, please let us know. thestonedwitcheshour@gmail.com.
So as much as I didn't find all the answers I was looking for, I sure as hell want to go there now.
Me too. I definitely do. I want to stay in that room. I want to research the builder.
I want to go in Sarah's portal. Where are we going?
Yeah,
Are
we're
we
going to be
going to
doing the Ouija
Narnia?
board in the closet. In the
Yeah,
closet.
if we took our homemade Ouija board in the closet, our asses will be in Narnia,
Oh, yeah, we'll be talking to a lion before dawn.
right? What do you
So,
got? What do you got?
well, I don't have any talking lions, but I do have a lady in red ghost.
Lady in red.
So I did not know that lady in red ghosts were kind of a thing, but according to Wikipedia, they are.
Are they like the opposite? Are they the opposite of the lady in white?
A little bit. Lady in whites tend to be women who died tragically around their wedding or with their lover, or their lover broke up with them, or their children were murdered and or murdered by them. Lady in red ghosts tend to be women of the night.
Ooh, I like those type of women.
And this particular ghost is no exception. So we're going to South Carolina, Charleston, South Carolina to be exact.
What year?
It started out as a theater, actually, and it was first built in 1735, and its grand opening occurred on February 12th, 1736.
Oh shit, that's old.
It's touted as being the first theater in the USA that was actually built to be a theater. Prior to that, most theaters were in somebody's home or in a bar or a tavern type of thing.
Right.
So this was the first building legitimately built to be a theater. And it is called the Dock Street Theater.
Now, is this supposed to be a legitimate theater or one of those "Hey baby" kind of theaters?
It's been both. It started
Okay.
out as a theater, only was there for about 4 years, and it burnt down in the Charleston fire of 1740. Then it was replaced with another theater that operated for about 40 years there, and that closed down in 1780, mostly because a bigger theater was built somewhere else. That is when it became what is known as the Planters Hotel. So it was purchased by a couple, Mr. and Mrs. Alexander Calder, and they renovated it to be the Planters Hotel. They decided to do that because at the time, Charleston was really big with horse racers and with a lot of the different plantation owners in the area.
People needed a place to stay.
They needed a fancy place to stay and to meet with their fancy high class hookers and do all their racing bets and that type of thing. So the Planters Hotel was created.
Can I just say I love high class hookers?
So after playing the ponies, all these rich, wealthy plantation owners would stay there and get up to all sorts of antics in the Planters Hotel. They also still had roving theater groups would perform there, and they had art shows and all sorts of different things like that happened as well. So during this time,
We'll call it a cultural center.
yeah, there you go. That's what you could call it if you want. During this time, one of the most famous actors that came to the Planters Hotel to perform on its stage was a man named Junius Brutus Booth, who at the time was a very famous Shakespearean actor who was much sought after. And I see your face. You're trying to place where you know the name.
I'm going John Wilkes Booth here.
He's John Wilkes Booth's dad. Ding, ding,
No
ding, ding,
shit.
ding.
No
Yes.
shit.
No shit. None other than the infamous John Wilkes Booth, who went on to shoot President Lincoln.
In a theater, by the way.
In a theater. Well, John Wilkes Booth was an actor also, just like dear old dad. And dear old dad was also known to have a very quick temper and a huge fondness for alcohol.
A lot of people did in that time, though.
That's true. So at one time, he was headlining at the Planters Hotel and apparently had a little bit too much to drink and went off about something, I'm not sure what, and almost killed the hotel's manager in an altercation.
If I say like father, like son, am I mean?
No, it's kind of
Okay.
true. Kind of
Okay.
true
Okay.
in this
Okay.
case. I
Okay.
mean, fuck John Wilkes Booth. I mean, seriously.
Right? He killed
But
Lincoln.
anyway, right? Now, one of the ghosts that's said to haunt the Dock Street Theater is Junius Booth, even though he did not die there. He died in a whole different state. But it said that he loved that theater so much and performing there so much that his spirit could not
And I
leave.
believe that, yeah, that there can be an attachment. Yeah.
Now, some people say that's a stretch, but his ghost is seen backstage. This is an older man that's often seen kind of hiding in the shadows backstage. It could also be some other actor that died there, but everyone insists that it is Junius Booth. Again, he's mostly just seen kind of lurking on stage. In the audience, sometimes people will feel him kind of breathing down their neck because he was known in life to be kind of a close talker. And in particular, he would lurk behind people and kind of loom over them.
I hate that type of person. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
So his ghost is still known to do that to this day. And sometimes he's even known to touch people inappropriately or to touch them in the audience.
I know people like that that are still alive, whatever.
Right. Right. I guess he's no better as a ghost.
I'm just stuck on he's John Wilkes Booth's father.
Right. Now, a few years after Junius Booth got into the altercation with the manager, there was a woman named Nettie Dickerson who came to town. Nettie was about 25 years old and she came to Charleston from like the surrounding countryside, a poor girl, from the country, didn't know much of anything. In the 1840s, to be 25 years old
And single.
that was kind of unheard of. She was, on the shelf. She's an old maid and she was hoping to find a husband in Charleston. But unfortunately, what she found was a whole lot of snobbery, a bunch of assholes, and people who considered that she was a good 7 to 8 years out of date.
At 25?
At 25. I mean,
Shit. Makes me
dumb,
feel like
right?
a cow now.
Fuck
Lord.
that. That's a bullshit idea then and a even more bullshit idea now. So she's heartbroken. She's still got to find work, and she manages to befriend a priest of one of the local churches. I believe it was St. Philip's Church. She gets a job there as a clerk, and she gets room, board, just a little tiny bit of pay, which she consistently saves because she doesn't have anything else to do. Nobody wants to go out with a 25-year-old woman, even though she's said to be quite beautiful.
And that's when prostitution comes into play, folks. They won't marry her, but they'll screw her.
Right? St. Philip's Church apparently is very close to what at the time was the Planters Hotel. And so Nettie, with her little tiny room, had a firsthand view of all the beautiful women and the fancy men that went in and out of this hotel.
She knows everybody's gossip.
That's right, she does. She saw these women partying, they had drinks, they were on the arms of the most wealthy men in town, and they seemed to be well respected. Nobody cared. She decided that she wasn't going to take it anymore. So she took her savings and she went downtown to the fanciest dress shop she could find, and she picked out the most gorgeous fancy dress that shopkeeper had in a deep scarlet red so that she would be
Ooh.
as noticed as possible.
My kind of girl.
Right? She put on this gorgeous dress, and above the priest's objections, she decided to head on down to the Planters Hotel and make her way as a lady of the night.
You go, girl. You go, girl.
Nettie became an immediate hit. She was smart, she was funny, she was gorgeous,
But not good enough to marry for some reason. Assholes.
good enough to have a great time with. Now, Nettie's living the high life. She continues to go to church every Sunday at St. Philip's and sees the priest who had befriended her, and he keeps trying to talk her out of her life of sin. At church is where she sees the men with their wives that she has been sleeping with all week.
That's how it was back then.
That is. Now, these women like to look down their nose at poor Nettie.
And she's like, yeah, well, who's giving the booty to your man?
You're not wrong. And she wasn't quiet about it. Nettie was tired of being the little church mouse and was
Who
not
killed her?
about,
Who killed her?
well, we're getting there.
I mean, I'm just theorizing here.
This was the beginning of the end because she didn't keep her mouth shut. She was more than happy to remind those women where their men had been spending their nights.
Loose lips sink ships, man.
Yeah, she had kind of a sharp tongue and was very full of herself and not afraid to give right back to these snotty women and these duplicitous men just what they were giving to her. And unfortunately, this started leading to a loss in business.
Oh, yeah.
So as her business declined and she started having less and less fun, and of course there's no marriage proposals coming, she got more and more distraught. So one night she snapped and she went out on the balcony of her room that overlooks the main street wearing her gorgeous scarlet dress and started going off about the snotty people in the town, the shitty men who were liars,
She had a meltdown.
the women who were catty and bitches and would never accept her, even when she was prim and proper, how terrible it all was. And the priest from down the street heard what was happening and, ran down the street to try and talk her out of this, like you said, meltdown that she's having. In the midst of it, it starts to downpour. The priest is like, Nettie, things can change. It can be different. Let me help you. And Nettie screams, "You can't save me," and is struck by lightning.
Ah, ah. What did she know that she wasn't saying?
I don't know, but right there, she died. And she is still in the hotel. She's seen walking the second floor, back and forth on the second floor in her red dress. And she's often also seen in the theater. Now, the creepy part, Chelle,
What?
she is not seen as the gorgeous prostitute in the scarlet dress.
Oh my God, she's like a freaking zombie.
Yes, that's exactly how they describe her. They say her dress is tattered and she looks terrible, like a zombie. Her face is sunken,
Like
her eyes are black.
Like she got struck by lightning in the rain.
Like she got struck by lightning, exactly.
All right, that would freak me out. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
People say that these sightings are very frequent, particularly by people performing in the theater. There's even a foreman that was doing renovations in 2008. His name is Isaiah Nesbitt. And he said that he saw her every single day that he went into work.
Oh, shit.
Recent sightings, people said, are really strange because they only see her from the knees up. Not that she's floating from the knees up, but almost like she's in the floor and they just see her from the knees up.
Weird.
Yeah, until you find out that in 1939, there were renovations that were done that raised the second floor about a foot.
She thinks she's walking on the original floor. Ah!
Isn't that wild that people that don't know that are like, it looks like she's kind of floating through the floor at the knees.
She's walking on the original floor.
She's walking on the original floor.
Shit. Holy shit.
Interestingly enough, no one that I could find has been here. No amateur groups, no professional groups. I could find no one that has gone.
Is it open?
It is open. There is still a theater there. We should definitely go and do an investigation.
Oh, man. I want to see her halfway through the floor.
Right? So there is also sightings of a woman in white, but nobody knows where she comes from, and they just see glimpses of her wandering the hallways. But no backstory to this ghost, just that they'll see a woman in white gliding down the hallway.
There's a lady in red's territory, man.
Exactly.
Keep them moving. Keep them moving.
It's definitely Nettie's territory. And, for a prostitute in a red dress to be arguing with a priest and struck by lightning is kind of an interesting story.
Poetic.
Very poetic. We need to kind of ask her what's going on and why she's stuck there. And is the male ghost in the backstage of the theater, is that really Junius Booth? Or is it some other poor soul that got trapped there?
I want to ask the lady in red if the priest was a client.
Oh, Chelle, you went there.
I did.
Well, he sounds like at least he was a very nice guy and cared for her when nobody else did. So at least he was trying.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, she was popular until her sharp tongue ran away with her.
Well, I think we got 2 new bucket list items tonight.
We definitely do. Vermont to South Carolina. Quite the road trip. I'm down. Let's do it.
I want to go sleep in a castle and chat with a lady about hooking up with a priest, man.
Go be a princess and be a slut in the span of the same week. I'm totally down.
Right up our alley. Right up our alley.
Absolutely. I remember that red dress you used to wear to ritual. That was hot.
Right? But I think that we need to finish our pipes, get ready for some slumber time, and sign off with our pals this week and catch up with them next week on 66.
Ooh.
Maybe for 66, we could do some ghosts from Route 66.
That's perfect. I was thinking the same thing. I'm on the same road, Chelle. We're
Right?
episode 66, Ghosts of Route 66. We're on it. So we will see you next time on the Stoned Witches Hour for episode 66, where we talk about ghosts of Route 66.
And getting high.
So we will see you at 4:20 a.m. on Wednesday. Stay high, stay happy.
See ya.